Hello there! So I thought this would be a neat idea to go over my favorite manga, especially ones that are in the genre of Seinen, so I made it happen. Also, just a disclaimer, I only chose 5 of my favorites, mostly because the 5 in question are easier to talk about, and the rest of my favorite Seinen I felt like I wouldn't be able to explain well. If you want to see my full list of favorite manga, my anilist is below. So I actually found about this manga after I finished Oyasumi Punpun a while back, and I wanted to read more of Inio Asano's novels, and thus I found this amazing masterpiece. Dead Dead Demons Dead 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 Destruction is a great example of a soft apocalyptic story. Before the main story begins, a large spaceship popped up in Tokyo randomly 3 years ago, and thus it started a controversy across Tokyo with the aliens, thus chaos ensues. Despite the chaotic mess that happened, we have our main characters Koyama Kodere and Nakagawa Oren, who just want to live their lives to the best of their ability. Now, surprise, surprise, the main story isn't even actually about the aliens. There are more so things to help build up the story and characters. The actual main focuses on the characters themselves and just life itself and how hard you have to struggle sometimes despite what happens on your way. I love this manga a lot because it has a great balance of everything: comedy, slice of life, and even thriller elements once you get more into the story. And an anime is coming out for it as well, so this will definitely bring out Inio's story even more. Okay, I know this is another Inio novel, like you'd think Oyasumi Punpun would be included here, but that is a whole other road I would have to take. Seinen is another great example of a story that can just really make you think. We have our characters Meiko and Tanada, who graduated from their university 2 years ago, with no goal or sight of the future in their minds. They step forward into their lives with no sense of direction. While Meiko works at her office, Tanada now has a job as an illustrator in a press company. Now how does this get interesting? Tanada also loves music. He often meets up with his bandmates from university just to jam. But one day, they realize that they feel like something's missing, and so they decide it's about time to finally get their music out there. Now, as the story goes on, we see Meiko and Tanada go through many changes and change up the rhythm of their normal lives. Meiko quits her job, and Tanada focuses on writing the first proper song for the band. Both of them do feel uneasy about their sudden change in life and feel uncertain on how it will take them, but as they finally seem like their lives are going to turn for the better, a tragedy happens that ruins the pace for everyone. I won't say what that is, that would ruin your experience, but the way Inio goes from there is just amazing storytelling. Give it a read, it's amazing. Also, there's a live action movie as well that will bring out scenes even better than how the manga did it, so give that a watch as well. Now this is currently my #1 favorite series of all time. It's another I got into after finishing the anime, which is a whole other masterpiece itself. Sangatsu no Lion follows the story of Rei Kiriyama. Now his story actually starts off really sad. His parents and a younger sister died in an accident as a young child with almost no one to turn to. The family of Masachika Koda, who was a friend of Rei's father, takes him in. In order for that to really happen, Rei had to develop the ability to love shogi in order to live, he says. As Rei got older, he eventually left his foster family due to many struggles that were going on living under that home. Rei felt like it was better to just leave and live on his own. While his life on his own, we also see that he has made a new bond with the Kawamoto family, which consists of 3 sisters, Hinata, Akari, and Momo. As the story continues, Rei also flourishes his life both as a professional shogi player and as a person himself at the same time, dealing with his relationships and bonds with others. What makes Sangatsu no Lion so special is that it doesn't focus on just Rei's issues himself. Every single character in Sangatsu no Lion has a purpose, and has a story, a struggle, something to even live for. The themes that get brought up are executed very well. I can't even count the amount of times I've cried reading this. I recommend you watch the first 2 seasons of the anime first and go forward with the manga, because the anime covers the arcs from the manga so beautifully, but everything past season 2 just blows my mind each time I think about it. Okay, funny story. While the anime was airing, I fell in love with it so much that it made me turn to the manga while it was airing, and I cannot tell you enough how beautiful of a manga Skip and Loafer is. Our main character is Mitsumi Iwakura. She's a high school student who basically moved from the boonies to Tokyo to help pursue her dreams for the future. On the day of her entrance ceremony, she gets lost and her whole plan for the day gets ruined. But on the way, she meets the handsome boy Sosuke Shima, which ends up being the best meeting of her life, literally. I don't know how to describe this series, but it just really feels like home. One of my favorite types of slice of life is when it focuses on friendship and relationships with one another. Mitsumi develops as a person and even gets an amazing friend group. Sosuke himself also has his struggles, especially for being an ex-actor and the controversies that eventually followed him, but Mitsumi to Sosuke is like a ray of sunshine, the brightest star out there, and it helps him find his way. These two have the sweetest moments ever, and I don't want to say too much, but if you love romance and love slice of life, this is definitely for you. Girls Last Tour is my favorite apocalyptic series of all time. I swear if the anime doesn't fully continue the story, my heart will vanish. I cannot tell you enough how much of an emotional roller coaster this story is, and it's not even that complex. It's one of the most simplest plots you can have, but what makes it so powerful is the execution. It follows two girls, Chito and Yuri, as they explore the leftover ruins after an unknown apocalypse happens and humanity just basically seems like it's no more. As they travel throughout the city, Kettengard, we see them do their regular surviving deeds, looking for food and supplies, even finding items in strange buildings and places. During their explorations, they also meet a few survivors. Shocking, I know, but we also get to know about these small minor characters and their background, and it helps give insight on what exactly happened. But Chito and Yuri's main goal is to get to the main level where all hope is for them. And that's all I'll say. You just gotta experience it yourself. And that's it. For those who don't know, this is a side account. My main account, I do Pokemon related content, but I thought it would be nice just to make a side channel to discuss the other interests I have. If people ended up liking this, I'll think about in the future if I want to continue frequently with this channel and discuss other mangas and animes. Well, thank you for watching. See you!